It's Tori Henderson, and we're doing our day one of the Sanity Challenge. Supermom is getting tired. Sanity Challenge. Welcome, welcome. I'm a few minutes late because there's a lot going on this time of year, this time of life, this time in our planet, let alone this time of day. So a lot of the mamas out there have kids at home. You've got all the work you used to do. Maybe your husband's working from home. Maybe you're working from home. Now you've got kids at home. You've got some expectations around homeschooling that may or may not be going well. So I thought it would be the perfect time for a sanity challenge. I'm going to turn my volume up. Hopefully you can hear me okay. And day one, we're talking about Monday morning. So we're talking about creating a schedule. And I know that a lot of people have resistance or some obstacles to creating a schedule. Some of you do not. Some of you got the schedule down, no problem. It works for you, okay? But I want to talk about why to create a schedule and how to do it from your higher self, okay? Because that's really what's important. Got my water. And so first things first, when it comes to creating a schedule is that you want you to come first. This is a schedule for you, for your sanity, okay? Now we'll talk about if you've got little kids that they need a schedule too. And obviously it gets very intertwined. But I want you to think about your day, and really you can do one day at a time. Don't, try to work too far ahead here. Everything's changing by the day. But if you just look at like one day, so if it's Monday morning, I'm gonna look at today. You can do it the night before or the morning of, but I want you to think about, what do I need to have in my schedule in order for me to feel sane, whole, mentally, emotionally, physically healthy? We've got to start with the basics, okay? So in your schedule, you're gonna wanna include things like exercise, moving your body vigorously, getting outside, play time. When is time for mommy to play? And I know a lot of mommies, if you have young children, you're probably thinking like, Tori, I don't remember how to play. It's been so long. So, challenge yourself a little bit. Think about just like what feels fun. And it might be just that all you need is rest because you're so tired, and that's okay. If you can't think of play, but you got rest, I'll take it. Okay, I'm trying to record on multiple channels here, so adjusting. All right, so play, rest, exercise, outside time, maybe some creative time, and then maybe time for chores too, just like, the basic stuff. Okay, so you want to include everything on your schedule, but you want to put it in a way that like this is the ideal setup for my sanity. So I'm going to walk twice a day. I'm going to close my door and be alone for an hour a day. I'm going to have some quiet time. Whatever you need for your sanity comes first, okay? But the reason we've got to do it ahead of time. I know a lot of you are saying, but Tori, like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what is just going to show up that day, what everybody's going to need from me. How am I supposed to make a schedule? The reason why it's important is because when you think ahead, you are coming from this part of your brain that's a little more advanced. It's the frontal lobes, the part of you that can anticipate things and needs. And it's coming from more of like your higher self, of like, what do I want for myself, for my life? What is aligned with my values and my goals for me? When you plan ahead, you're coming from a different part of the brain. If you don't plan and you're just in reactive mode, that's when you eat things you don't want to eat. You yell at the kids and you snap at them. You get annoyed and frustrated with yourself for not getting everything done on your to-do list, okay? So when you set your intention ahead of time for what you'd like to accomplish and you feel good about it, we're going to talk about that, then you are aligning with your higher self versus your more primitive brain, your more primal, impulsive, reactive brain. It's just usually when we come from our impulsive, reactive brain, we don't end up living the life that we want, right? It's like, that's where at the end of the day, you're like, oh, why was I so mean? Why did I eat all that? Why did I just binge watch Netflix all day? It's because you were in your primitive, primal, reactive brain rather than your frontal lobes. Okay, so that's why it's so important. And so even if you don't know what your day is going to hold, that's okay. You're still putting yourself first in your, sanity, your best sanity plan into place and saying, I need, in order to feel sane, I need these 5 things to happen. Okay. And so what to include, I gave some examples, but I know for a lot of you, when you sit down to write your schedule for the day, what comes out is 1,100 tasks. I've got all these things I could do or have to do, need to do, should do, must do, all the like yuckiness, but then also this kind of like coronavirus creativity of like, oh, and I can clean out the attic and I can organize the photos and the photo albums. Like, then you get this waterfall of tasks and to-dos. Okay, so if that comes to your head, write it all down, get it out of your head. You don't need to be carrying that around with you, but that's not your schedule. Okay, that's just your brain dump. There's a difference. So put your brain dump on paper and then start a new page of your journal and say, okay, what do I need today to make me feel sane? What do I need my schedule to look like? And okay, so that's what we're gonna include on the list is 4 to 5, quiet time, 9 to 10, productive time, creative time, exercise time, alone time, rest time. I'm going to do a puzzle. I'm going to paint a picture. I'm going to dance with my kids. I'm going to do laundry. Okay. But here's the thing. What I have found that is the one question I ask myself that I know is coming from my higher self. Okay, we've got these different parts of our brain. We're talking about the primitive, reactive brain that's just like impulsive. We're talking about these frontal lobes so we can like plan ahead of time and like align with what do I want my life to look like. But there's also this other part, I wouldn't even say it's from our brain. I'm gonna call it like it's coming from like your essence, your spirit. And it speaks very subtly. It's hard to hear under all the noise and all the to-dos. And it tends to be very gentle. But the way I found to kind of invoke it is to ask this question when it comes to my schedule is, what would I love to accomplish today? Now, the words I choose are very particular. I put love because that talks to that higher part of my brain, that like spirit and essence of me of like, what would I love today? It's softer. It's not like, I got to get all these things done. This is important. I'm failing and I have to be better than I am. What would I love? And so when you tap into that love part, it might be like, I want to take a nap. I would love, but let's say, okay, here's a good example. If you sleep too much, if right now you're in fight, flight, or freeze and you are oversleeping and you're always wanting to sleep because you're just like depressed and not feeling alive, and you say, what would I love to accomplish today? Taking a nap is not going to come to your head. That's coming from an avoidant, fearful part of your brain. Okay? But if you do not allow yourself to nap, and that's what your body's craving, and you're like, no, can't nap, must plug through, must push, gotta power through, got too much to do. And then you say, what would I love to accomplish today? And a nap is what comes in. Trust it, honor it, and write it into the schedule, okay? So the other word that's key here is, what would I love to accomplish? So we could say, what would I love to do till the cows come home? But it's gonna feel arduous. It's gonna feel stressful. It's gonna feel like this never-ending to-do list. But if you say, what would I love to accomplish? It gives you that little like dopamine hit that we get from accomplishing our goals. And, you know, crossing something off our to-do list, checking it, saying like, I did good. So when you have this brain, like a lot of super moms have, which is, I'm not doing enough, I should be doing more, something's wrong with me, you never allow yourself this feeling of accomplishment. You're like, yeah, well, I did 5 things, but I've still got 5 more. We're kind of mean up in there. And so what would I love to accomplish is then going to focus you on that end result that gives you that dopamine hit. And I do not want you to have more than 3 things on this answer to the question. You can have 1 is fine. And 1 is great because, like you say, what would I love to accomplish this morning? You can narrow the time period. What would I love to accomplish in the next hour? Get your little dopamine hit, feel good about yourself, and then move on to the next thing you would love to accomplish, all right? And then the last one here is overcoming obstacles. If you guys have them and you want to write them in the chat, tell me what your obstacles are. Here's what I anticipate as being the biggest obstacle. Our brains don't like to change. Whenever you try to do something, especially good for yourself, you're going to be met with resistance. I call it the resistance monster. Is going to come up and be like, no, we must not be good. We can't meditate. We can't exercise. We've never done that before. Why are we going to start doing exercise videos now? We used to go to the gym. We're going to have all these arguments like, I don't have time. I'm supposed to work and homeschool. There's no way I can fit in exercise. I don't have I can't do it here at the house. I need to go out. I'm an obliger. I need other people to, you know, wait for me to show up. Whatever the arguments are, you're going to find them. And the way to overcome these obstacles is you want to identify your resistance monster. What does it sound like? Does it sound like a human, or is it more of like an animal freaking out? Does it come a lot? Like, does it yell at you? Is it like angry, like a drill sergeant, like, you gotta get back to work, you can't be doing this? Or is it more of like weak and like, oh, I could never do that. I'm not a work from home kind of person. I can't exercise from home. Everybody needs me. What's the quality of the voice sound like? Is it bombastic? Is it wimpy? Is it just kind of snarky and mean, like a little inner mean girl? It's like, you don't know what you're doing. You're doing everything wrong. What's wrong with you? And I want you to draw a picture of your resistance monster. Show me what it looks like. Actually, so I have today, what I want everybody to post in the Facebook group, that would be really great to kind of help support each other, is to post what came up through the answer for you. If you just ask the question, what would I love to accomplish today? And then just sat with it and didn't try to answer it from your brain, but just let the answer kind of emerge. Just see what comes to mind and notice how subtle it is, and then post that in the group. But I would actually really love to see your resistance monster too. So if you could draw a picture or post a photo or GIF or something, what your resistance monster looks like, draw it, take a picture and put it in the Facebook group, that would be fun. I think we should do that too, because that resistance monster is, you know, we are all experiencing a major shift, transition, transformation for a lot of us. And so we're gonna have resistance. It's gonna come up when we try and do anything good for ourselves. Take the pressure off. Have some easy, flowy, enjoyable times with our kids. Even something like that, we're gonna have resistance to. Like, oh no, I must be working hard. You know, if you're a people pleaser, you're gonna still find ways to be a people pleaser, even though it feels like way too much pressure right now. So resistance is going to come along for the ride. So let's share. You can even just write a description of what your resistance monster looks like today. And so notice it. When you're following your schedule, you've got it written out. This is for you, and you're following it along, and it's time to do yoga with the yoga video, and you roll out your yoga mat, and you've got resistance coming up like crazy. You're dancing all around that yoga mat, doing everything else but getting on the mat and doing the video. I want to know, what does the voice in your head sound like? I don't have time. I don't have time. Or is it like, there's too much to do? Like, how does that resistance monster talk to you? Okay. And then just a little word about kids and teens. If you've got young children at home, kids benefit from a structured routine. If you go into any elementary school classroom, there's always a schedule of the day posted so that the kids can predict what's coming and when. They need this. And so you do one for you, and then do one for them that mirrors it. You get to teach your kids how to treat you. If it's mommy needs to work from 9 to 10 or 9 to 11, and then from 11 to 12 we have lunch together and play a game, whatever. They just need to know it's easier for them to leave you alone and respect your schedule if they know what to predict ahead of time and when you're going to be available. You can also do things like wear a certain hat when you're not to be disturbed. Like you have a work hat or a scarf that when mommy's wearing the scarf, don't talk to her. She's on a work call. When mommy takes the scarf off, that means you can talk to me and interrupt me. Okay? Little tricks like that. If you've got teenagers in the house, let them work out their own schedule. Kind of be like a facilitator to them and say, okay, here's my schedule. I'm going to show you by example. This is what I'm creating for me. You create a schedule for you. You don't have to share it and show it to me, although there might be times when it'd be helpful for me to know what your schedule is. If it's you want me to, we've been practicing driving, so I kind of need to fit that into my schedule too if my daughter wants me to take her driving. So have them create their own schedule, and then you can ask them, say, hey, is there anything that I can do to support you? Do you need my help in any way? Do you need me to be available from a certain hour, from 4 to 5, to help you with, Google Classroom or some sort of tech, or you need to use my laptop or whatever it is, I'll be available. Here's my office hours kind of thing. So one of the things both adults and college students say is the hardest adjustment, the hardest thing when going to college is managing your time. So this is a great opportunity for teenagers to practice managing their own schedule, managing their own time, and then using you as a resource. If they're saying, yeah, mom, like I'm staying up too late, I'm sleeping until 1, and I don't like that, I'd like to change that, then you could say, how can I help you? How would you like me to support you? Do you want me to come wake you up at 10 a.m.? And just offer to be like a assistant to them rather than a dictator, and kind of telling them what to do and what their schedule should be like. We just want to kind of like wean them on to doing it for themselves. But even as adults, sometimes like I want help. Like last night, I was like, told my son, I'm like, please take these cookies away from me and hide them. So sometimes we need help accomplishing our goals of not eating 10,000 cookies in front of the television. They're so little and so good that I can eat way too many of them. So it's okay for your teenager to ask for your help, and better than you kind of telling them what. And you can have some firm boundaries and say, like, I know you're not going to be on your phone after midnight or something. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, like, try to let go of the rope and let them manage their own schedule. Okay, so any questions? I will check with you can always post them on Facebook too. If you have any questions about schedules, check in because I'm trying to do this in different channels. Okay, look like I'm good. So tomorrow we will be talking about, what are we talking about tomorrow? Creative ways to move your body, I think. And we're going to talk about a little more resistance in there too. I think it was exercise. And so yeah, so let's stay in the Facebook group. In the Supermom is Getting Tired group, we're going to post your what would you love to accomplish today, and if you want to push your resistance monster, it'll be handy for tomorrow as well. All right, everybody, good luck, stay sane, take care.